Because you know what I want to talk about.
This.
Oh, I thought this was... I figured we were already starting.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. We're keeping that all in. Yeah, but we're segueing into the... I've made a way bigger deal of this than this should be.
End of the U's? Is that what we're going at?
The U's.
Oh, the U's, yeah.
The J's.
Oh, yeah. The J's.
Doing some
where do we start with
shit?
God damn. Honestly, let's be real. Because let's take it back and really think about what they're doing. They're really doing some American shit, which in turn is really doing some British shit. I think it's incredible. The thing that's pissed me off is that there's so many people on my timeline sharing these free Palestine posts. And I'm like, remember when y'all, what was that, like a year ago? And when Kanye was doing a bunch of crazy shit and saying a bunch of crazy shit, and I was like, hey, he hitting on some of that. And they're like, you sound crazy. You sound racist. I'm like, it's not really about, it's not, like, I don't look at any race and I'm like, hey, because you're that race or whatever, I don't like you. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at history. I'm looking at facts. Things that I believe to be facts, at least. I'm a big believer in, like, we don't really know for sure because we're not there.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I think this is why so many people over there hate us, too. Because it's like, you see what's going on over there? I better fucking post about it on Facebook. It's like, dude, you're fucking over here picking sides. You don't even, and, like, people, like, I'm not promoting what side I pick. I really don't have a side that I pick in the fucking Israel-Palestine situation. I think we should probably fucking make it clear that that's what we're talking about. But like,
not just like the overscope of
exactly. We just start going into it, and people just like 30 minutes later, they're like, "Now I get it." Okay.
The neo-Nazi party of Des Moines just shows up in our.
I feel like this can be a good history lesson for whoever fucking watches this podcast. Though it's like, I mean, the British Empire. Fuck it. Let's keep it more intact first.
So let's start the beginning here. Let's just start
current.
Yes, current. That's what I mean. I guess for me, the first thing that I would say is like, first of all, I'm glad that the Ukraine war is over. I'm glad that we've that whole thing is just it's just ended basically.
Did they stop? Did they? Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, that's a joke because
I couldn't tell. I haven't even been looking at it because I was just like, all right, this is the same thing every day. So I was paying zero attention.
This is the direction that the corporate press has decided to angle its cameras at, is the Israel-Palestine conflict, which has been going on like forever. So it's kind of
it was going on. Wait, I think there was even something with them going on before even like they were in control, before like way back when the British controlled them, and then they fucking were just like, well, we need a home for the Jews because we like them, but we don't really want them in Britain, so we're gonna send them over there.
Yeah. So, but before we get there, like staying current, like I don't think that really anyone's acting appropriately. Let me just like right off the bat, like Palestinians like taking people out of their beds and raping them, killing children, raping women, all that kind of shit.
Which they've also been doing for a long time too.
Exactly. Yep. That's awful. Israelites cutting off water to 2 million people. That's awful. But I mean, I just don't think it's as black and white, because I have been tuned out to the whole thing. Like I've just kind of been tuned out in politics in general. Like when you texted me today and we're like, this is what we should do the episode on.
Oh yeah.
That's when I was listening to a podcast today and like I actually like, okay, what's the timeline here? What's actually going on? Because like I've heard murmurs and bits about it, but like I feel like I'm so immersed in whatever that I just haven't even been paying attention to what's been happening. So I kind of got caught up with everything today. And like, everybody knows this is a long conflict, right? To sum it up, basically, Israel came in, took took over Palestine. They gave them a certain amount of land. Palestine has wanted that land back forever. Okay. They've been going back and forth forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
This has been an endless thing that's been happening.
We'll get into the details there.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, look, I don't think it's I was looking at this today. I don't think it's a coincidence that this is happening around the same time that Saudi Arabia and Israel were about to have a deal where the U.S. was about to strengthen their ties with Israel. Like it makes sense that Palestine would make this coerced attack on the Gaza Strip and like
this
do all
is
this.
them. This literally is the United States strengthening their relationship with Israel. Israel gets attacked by these guys but what Palestinians right now do not have the right type of firepower that they need. Like there's so many small skirmishes that happen all the time.
Yeah.
They always have to be on their guard. They knew they were coming. Now, there's no actual proof to this, but I mean, when you look back all the way to when motherfuckers were still writing letters and sending a dude out on a horse and then hoping that your people got it in time, you look all the way back then, Americans did some shiesty shit. That's what you had to do to win war, kind of. That's why we got so good. And who would we learn it from? The British. But it's like, they knew they were coming. And this is what has happened. Like, it happened like back in 2014 too. This is what happens. They let them come. They let this attack happen because they're like, hey, we got to sacrifice some so that then we can be like, hey, these guys are bad. This is where we're going to fucking turn the narrative. These guys are bad. They're all terrorists. We don't know why they're acting so crazy and trying to kill all of us. We need to take over more of their land. We need to make them smaller so that they can't do this again. I mean, that's war tactics. We saw it after World War I. We saw it after World War II. It's like everybody had Germany in a fucking grip for a bit. Because they're like, we got to knock you back down to size so that you're not capable of doing this again. And now, who's going to win out of this? Israel's going to win. They're obviously going to win. They got fucking support from us. They're going to take over more land. They're going to be able to make more money. They're going to grow more powerful. And in turn, that's going to help us. They do so much technological shit for us, dude. Like, they do hella shit for the United States. And, like, they're known to be, like, a super advanced country when it comes to, like, missile warfare and shit like that. I don't know what it's technically called. But I 100% believe they knew it was coming. They let it happen. And now they're getting their get back.
Oh, so you think the attack on the Gaza Strip they knew was going to happen, they let it happen? Damn. Dude, I didn't even think about that.
With where intelligence is at today.
Sure.
Like, they are our intelligence in the Middle East. And then, obviously, other outposts that we have. But, like, they're the baseline. We stay so tight-knit with them. Because it's like the relationship with the Americans and the Jews. First of all, we never even wanted to go to World War II. Like, there's plenty of people in America that were like, let Germany do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Plenty of people. Never stepped in until the Japanese came and attacked Pearl Harbor, and then we were like, okay, motherfucker, let's go fuck some shit up. So we sent our boys out. We saved the Jews. That's how people look at it. People look at it all around. I don't know if history was just taught that way or if we really did have that big of an effect on the war, but it's like, that's how it looked at it. It strengthened a relationship right there. Yeah. And they needed a home, and they felt like they had rights to Jerusalem, so that's where we're putting them. They were already there, but it's like, dude, the way, the time frames when fucking Palestine just got absolutely flooded with Jews, yeah. First time was with the British. Second time, right after World War II.
Yeah, it's crazy shit. And, I think that, like, kind of, not to get too far into it, but, like, kind of the libertarian argument, right, about, like, how government is kind of, at the end of the day, what muddles all this up. These government treaties happening, these government, both examples in World War II and what's going on now. Like, every time the government steps in and makes a decision, people react, and then the reactionaries are cast by the media as the ones who are the perpetrators. And now, I'm not saying, like, again, I'm not saying what the Palestinians are doing is good, but, like, look, if I'm going to be sympathetic to one side, I'm going to be more sympathetic to the side who's gotten their country invaded.
Exactly.
I mean, look, if you look at the U.S., you look at the natives, right? Like, if you were to say, like if you were to look at that situation and be like, yeah, we're pro-U.S. on that. Like, we're pro, like, fucking up the natives and taking their land. Like, you're a piece of shit. Yeah. Like, I don't understand it. Like, well, I do understand why. I understand that it's politicized and it's emotional and all that. But, like, from a logical faction, there's no difference between what's happening. Not no difference, but there's very little difference between what's happening there and what happened in the U.S. with the natives in terms of that, like, particular thing, a government coming in and invading in people. I mean, that's what happened.
For people who don't understand, I feel like we should try to explain it this way too. I mean, you can fucking, first of all, go and do your own research. I feel like that's honestly, obviously, governments and shit, the aggressors in the situation. Mm-hmm. But everyday people like you and I are at fault as well, I think. Yeah, to an extent, because it's like you have the ability to do this research. You have the ability to actually learn about these situations in depth. But you just decide to take what you see in current events, take it at face value. I want to put it like this: the situation with Palestine and the Jews and all the whole area. It's like if you have a landlord right now and you have a roommate and you guys split the house. Imagine your landlord comes in and he says, hey, he actually, instead of having half of the house, now gets 75% of the house. And then he comes back 4 years later and he's like, okay, now instead of 75, he's going to take 85% of the house. How would you react? You'd be fucking pissed, right? You'd be like, well, I don't want him to take my house. And this is what history leaves out right here, too. What do you think he says to you if you say, I don't want him in my house, or I don't want him to take the part of my house? They're going to be like, tough shit, dude. Yeah. What the fuck are you going to... I'm making you do it. And what? Yeah. Palestine's supposed to fight the entire British Empire? Not going to work out very well at all.
Yeah, well, and did you see Anderson Cooper on the CNN Live, just like being
is that being the white dude?
Yeah, that's like the super white dude. He got a bunch of plastic surgery.
He's got the square.
Yeah, he's just got
straight line face. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
He's like the only guy at CNN left who's like relevant,
and he's been there for like ever. That guy.
But he's like I don't know if I guess he still is, but at one point he was like in Israel, like, and there's a clip of him like, you know, being on the live and like a bomb goes off in the back. He's like, oh, is that real? And then
he said, is that real?
Yeah, he's like, was that? He's like, I haven't heard an explosion like that. I don't know. It wasn't even really that funny, but it's just it's kind of just funny to see that the corporate media just immediately be like, all right, Anderson Cooper on the lines of Israel today, right now, Ukraine, fuck Ukraine. That's been dry for 4 months. We don't give a shit about that anymore. Israel, back to the basics.
Yeah, no, dude.